So the deck is basically going to consist of one of my engines, which is Horus, and then we're gonna run a 2 and 1 copy of each. We're gonna run one of those. We're gonna run 3 of the things and 3 of these. That's just so we can get a good amount of the cards acquired a bit quicker. I could run 2 copies of the trap, but I want there to be enough room for our other part of the deck, which is going to be a little bit different, but kind of uses the same format. And of course, everybody should know that it's probably going to be the newest thing. I just kind of noticed that my head is awful big, so why don't I just do this? That there. Pretty sure. Right there. Alright. Sorry, I'm just gonna... this bothers me a little bit. Because the way I have it is, it's, you know. Alright, cool. That looks much better, and you can't see my big ass head. Alright, so that's good. We've got that taken care of. Now, if I was looking for more consistency in the Horus engine, or the Horus, the Horus side of the deck, I could theoretically pop each of these up to another additional one, so there would be 2 copies, and we may end up doing that depending on how much room we have when we get our staples in the in here. So let's see, Ash. We're going to be running 2 Ash Blossoms. We're going to be running Infinite. We're going to be running... We're probably going to end up buying a second Impermanence, because the second Impermanence would be more useful and more consistent for stopping any of our opponents' monster plays. Theoretically, the Effect Veiler is better. Well, is okay, but like we only have 1 Effect Veiler as well, and we're going to try our hardest to not go out of our way to buy anything extravagant. Just because we want this deck to run, we just want it to run. We just want it to be able to play, so we can actually improve the deck and keep all that stuff going. So Effect Veiler. So we got Effect Veiler, Maxi. Realistically, we may end up buying another Effect Veiler and another Imperm just for consistency purposes. I guess the other thing we could do is we could add in. So this is going to be different from the one I'm running in on my mobile version. So let's see here. We want. Again, and we'll add a Black Flame deity as well, just because it works with the engine. My deck that I'm running on my mobile version doesn't run the Horus, but if it works well in this, I may end up scrapping a card in there and making it the Horus. And the only reason we're running 3 copies of these is for consistency, because this effectively gives us 6 copies of King Sarcophagus, so that's the only reason we run 3 of each of these. And this is a cheaper King Sarcophagus, just without the ability to send cards to the graveyard. That's where this one is the better version. So that will be, that would be our main starter, but this can effectively work as a starter as well, as long as we have 1 copy of a horus monster in our hand. Usually we're typically good. Unless they just pull out something that's just unreasonable. Yeah, and again, I think realistically wise, we'll probably end up trying to buy one of these as well each. Just depends on how good our pulls go for the other things. And then because we are running the Horus engine, it does give us access to 2 Xyz monsters. We can get access to level 10 monsters. We can get access to level 9 monsters, and we can also get access to the level 8 monsters, which I think we're probably going to end up just throwing 1 copy of each of the Galaxy Eyes dragons, and I don't think I have access to the other 2 that I need, which is, is possibly going to suck, but I don't know. I don't think. No, I don't have access to like the IP and the other thing as well, just quite yet. We could definitely get those at some point. Let's just see. All right. So now let's look at yubel. And everybody knew that this is what was gonna happen. So we're going to run 1 copy of that, and that should be 3 copies, but again, we're probably not going to get 3 copies. This would be 3 copies, this would be 3 copies. 1 copy of this, 1 copy of that. 1 copy, 1 copy, 3 copies. 1 copy, 1 copy, 1 copy. And then we would like to run at least 1 copy of that. If we can run 2 copies, that would be even better. But like UR wise, the amount of stuff we have that we're gonna need from this is not that great at all. So any of our extra URs that don't end up being a Nightmare Throne or the Phantom or the yubel, that would go into getting us our other cards to round this out. And then what we could do is, realistically, we could technically probably cut the Nightmare Throne down to 1. And then with the Nightmare Throne, that just increases our odds of getting a yubel monster out on the second turn. Like, that's just probably what's, it's what could happen. And I would love to have more than 1 copy of the yubel Loving Defender, but that doesn't really work well with what we have planned for it. So let's look for Gustav. Let's look for Gust. And realistically, we would want 2 of them. If we could have 3, we would have 3. So realistically, the extra deck kind of looks like the Gustav, And then rail cannon. This one. And Super Dreadnought could be added if we were really desperate for extra deck monsters. Like if we absolutely needed something from the extra deck that we needed to fill it, we could throw the other thing in there. But in all realities, you're probably gonna want to mostly do the super rail cannon Gustav, and then you can use your Xyz materials after you've tossed the one off of this and tossed another one off of it. You could theoretically go into getting the super rail cannon out, and then once Juggernaut's out on the field, it could be a big monster for you to just have. 3 level 11 monsters. Once per turn, you can also exceed summon Super Rail Libel from using 1 rank 10 machine exceeds monster, which again is what we have the Gustav Rail Cannon in here for. I think that it gives you several avenues to take the deck to the next level, and that's not a bad thing at all. I think we would probably add another Ash too, just to have consistency. The big thing you want to get for is, especially when you're starting out, staples are always going to be the first things you should get. And again, I've kind of just gone out of and avoided getting the packs that all those come in, because it's master packs typically, and the card pool is so wide for that it doesn't give me a consistent way to look for the cards. So I ended up just saying, hey, I'm gonna play what copies of what I have, and then when I build decks, any extra that comes off of that, we can go ahead and use that to build the build decks. So we're gonna save this template for now, and we're gonna go buy some cards. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and get a couple packs. We're gonna go 10 packs at a time, and depending on how close we are to finishing a deck, we may end up purchasing the rest of the gems, just